Did you hear about this new officer Gario's commissioned to fight the Battanians? I hear he's half Battanian himself. They say back before he was born, his mother's village was raided by the savages. They let her live, but not before one of them had his way with her and left her with child. She decided to keep the babe and care for it, but when the rest of the village found out he was one of them Battanians' bastards, they threw her out, and the boy with her. They say she took ill and died not long after that, and the boy had to fend for himself. Worked for scraps of food until he was old enough to enlist, and the rest is history, as they say. Pretty rough go if you ask me. Still, I ain't so sure about the guy. He's as likely to want to join them Battanians as he is to want to kill them. Hello and welcome to our newest Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord Let's Play that will be running concurrently with the other Let's Play we already have going on with the Holy Calradian Empire. Here we're joining Andros Stilikos in his goal, though he may not know it yet, to liberate the whole of Calradia from tyranny and oppression by forming the great, or let's go with the Grand Republic of Calradia, or at least as far as the game will allow us to go in that regard. So what I'd like to do in this playthrough is explore a couple of things. First of all, as in all playthroughs, essentially the goal is going to be to conquer. However, I'd like to do a few more interesting things than just simply, paint the map a specific color. In particular, the reason I chose to go with the Imperials here is because there's a mod on the Nexus that I'm really intrigued by. It's somebody's troop changer. I don't recall the mod author's name, but it's called the troop changer, and essentially it lets you inject new troop trees into the recruitment pool for various factions. And so what I'd like to do, and again the reason why I chose the Empire here, is as we go around conquering various parts of the map, introduce auxiliary or federati units for each of those factions. So for example, with the Battanians, who we're starting out hostile with right now, we can start to recruit some sort of imperialized Battanians, Battanians that have come in and trained up to be like a legionnaire, not quite the same type of legionnaire that we'd see in the Empire, but a legionnaire as well, or things of that nature. And obviously each individual faction's auxiliary troops will have a slightly different flavor to them to keep some authenticity from that original faction, but we won't be running an Imperial army full of Vlandian knights. We'll have Vlandian cataphracts that look a little bit more knightly than your typical cataphract, or auxiliary Battanian archers that are dressed in Imperial garb but use Battanian longbows to deal out death at long range, things like that. I think that'll make the overall conquering a lot more interesting, because as we take on more and more territory, the composition of our army is going to kind of evolve, and just in general, it'll keep things fresher. Also, I have a lot of fun creating those troop trees, so it's something I was interested in doing regardless. But that's sort of the plan. Now, when I talk about Republic, what I'd like to do is institute some policies that will create sort of a consul, I guess is the title that we'll take. We won't be the emperor, because this won't be an empire. This will be a republic in the Roman fashion. So the leader will be a consul. The consul is going to have a lot of executive authority, but beyond that, I'd like to reduce the gap between the people, the plebs, and the nobility. And so I'd start by implementing things like a Council of the Commons, a Charter of Liberties, citizenship, tribunes of the people, giving rights to the people, if that makes any sense. And a lot of these will take hits to your overall prosperity, money making, things like that. But from what I've seen into the late game, money becomes far and away not an issue. So I think that's a great way to invest a lot of that excess cash people are earning by spending it, not necessarily spending it, but having it be sort of soaked up in these sorts of policies. So that's my goal. But again, I am going to do some things that help me take control of the faction, insofar as, the player guiding it is going to do a lot better than if I let a bunch of lords push me around because it suits them. So that's sort of the plan. Of course, Andros doesn't quite know that yet. He is starting from very humble beginnings here in Lagada, just having received his imperial commission to lead his own army. He is a half-Battanian bastard, lived a very rough life to this point, but was able to work his way up through the military despite these things, and now leads his own army. Unlike in our other playthrough, I'm not starting out with any land, but this is sort of a expedited start, so we already have an army to our name. We're already part of a faction. We're at clan tier 2, which again allows us to join the faction. So we could be given land at some point. And just to quickly run you through my party, what we're starting with here, here's Andros in his gear. It's like mid-tier armor, relatively early tier weapons. We do have a companion, Himmel the Outcast, kicked out of the Eletheroi and decided to try to earn his keep out west. And so Andros picked him up. Kind of two of the same, cut from the same cloth as one another, both not really having a place in the Empire, but trying to make one for themselves through the Imperial military. And so he is, let's check out his character sheet, going to be sort of a tactician for us. Obviously, combat is his main skill set, fighting from horseback with sword and bow, which he has both of. But in terms of additional skills, he's going to offer some utility as a tactician, so I can give him quests to take care of for me, such as bandit hideouts and things. He'll be able to handle those on his own with a small retinue. And then we have some Imperial Equites, some Imperial trained infantrymen, and some trained archers. So a bunch of tier 2 troops that should get us started but aren't going to allow us to steamroll everything that we face. And we have a bit of room, 9 slots in fact, that we can use to take on more troops as we go along, and also companions. Now if you watched episode 2 of our other playthrough, you'll know that I am capable of changing both the appearance and the name of companions now, so I can take custom characters like we did back in Warband. So I'm happy to have you guys roleplay along with me, come up with your characters, and we'll introduce them at points throughout our story here and get them involved. I guess let's talk briefly about my clan. So in terms of members, of course, it's just me, and then Himmel is kind of a member. I'm rocking the Cairo on our standard here. It's not really significant in any way to what our goals are in this playthrough. It's just happens to be sort of the main symbol of my favorite period in Roman history. And I think for such a simple design, it is kind of cool. I don't have any interest in the religious subtext that comes with it or anything like that. I just like it as a heraldry design. And since we're going for something, fairly Roman in this playthrough, I figured some proper Roman heraldry would be the way to go. Now, we're of course recolored with our current faction's colors, the Western Empire, but that will change, and eventually we'll have our own colors. But for now, we're doing the, what is that, like a fuchsia? I don't even know what this color is. They're all various shades and hues of what's ultimately purple and gold. So that's what we're doing for now. So I suppose let's get started. We do have, of course, a decent sized party, so I would like to maybe run into Battanian territory. Given Andros' backstory, I don't think he's the type to raid a village, but we can maybe swing by some of these villages here, see what their quests are, and try to help them out. I think that's definitely something he would do. And we can head into Battanian territory and try to find a lord with a relatively small party to fight with, or maybe pick on a few caravans. That's something that could hurt the faction without targeting necessarily the populace in general. But Promesos has a quest right now, so let's run over there first. We'll start things a little bit slow here, but again, the reason why I like to start with an army already is so that we can get involved in the larger faction warfare relatively early. So Asarios, Family feud. Okay, so this is one of the ways that we're getting the companions that we'll rename. So let's go ahead and do this. We're actually not going to complete it. We're just going to steal the character essentially and then have them be a companion for us. Hi, sorry. I don't think I know you. My name is Andros, sir. May I ask your name? I'm Osarios. I own land around here. I speak for many of the people in this village. I'll mark your name. I heard you may have need of some help. One of my relatives has fallen victim to his temper during a quarrel and killed a man from Montos. We've offered to pay the blood money, but the family of the deceased have stubbornly refused it. As it turns out, the deceased is a kin of Croter of Montos, the elderman of the region, and now the men of Montos have sworn to kill my relative. That sounds pretty serious. Go on. My family is concerned for the boy's life. He has gone hiding around the village commons as he can be killed at any time. We need at least someone who can protect him until Croter of Montos accepts the blood money and ends the feud. We would be eternally grateful if you can help my relative and take him with you for a while maybe. Don't worry, I'll protect your relative and help him on this matter personally. What better way to protect him after all than taking him into our army and making him one of our loyal companions? Of course, he's not going to particularly like this because the quest isn't designed to have multiple endings, but that's fine. We'll take a small relationship hit now and have plenty of opportunity to, maybe better our relationship with this guy later. So he's hiding around here somewhere. Himmel the Outcast is going to join me on horseback. And let's see, that's Nortos. I think it's Camnon over there. Let's ride in that general direction and we'll go find him. So again, if you're not familiar with how I do custom companions in these playthroughs, I like for people to roleplay along with this series with a character of their own creation. If roleplay isn't your thing, that's entirely fine too. I just try to encourage interaction, and so the people that interact in the comment section the most are the ones that I generally add in the soonest. But if, again, roleplay's not really your thing, then offering advice or tips or just general counsel is always welcome too. Just any way to interact and stay active in the comments, I try to reward by putting, again, those characters in before anybody else. So Camden, who are you? What do you want from me? Relax, I've talked with your relative, Osarios. I know all about the situation. And, will you protect me, please? I will. Come now. I'll take you with me. We're not going to go to Croter directly. Okay. So he's with us. Camden has joined our party. So in, I believe, 5 days' time, this quest will fail. Yep. And Camden here will become a proper companion. He is, of course, one now. He's in our party. However, as of right now, he's still part of the quest line. And so I don't want to outfit him until the quest line is officially over. But if we go to his character sheet, we can see that he is level 1, minus 110 skill points. So what I'll probably do is as soon as he becomes a proper character in our party, I will use the console commands to sort of set him at 0 rather than negative. And then we'll grow him as a character from there. But of course, his face and name are likely to change based on submission from you guys. It looks like he's got the same stats as every other character that you'll pick up in these situations, in that he'll have 20 in all melee skills, 20 in throwing, and 20 in athletics. So obviously he's got a lot of work to be done, but that's why I have chosen to make these sort of the custom characters, because I'd like to have a lot of them, and these guys are far from overpowered, whereas if I was renaming the people on Himmel's level, who were already like level 16, our party could become, pretty ridiculously strong really fast, and it might be a little bit broken. But we'll see. It may not. One soldier's not necessarily going to change the tide of battle in this game, but something to consider. So for now, we're going to go about it in that way. So I think we'll head north. If I see any bandit parties, I will definitely try to break off and fight them, but I'm not sure that 4 is really worth my time at the moment. Let's swing by Montos. Krotor's building up an army here. We may decide to follow along. That Krotor, of course, different than this Krotor. He wants me to train troops. I am not going to do that right now. I also have to be careful. If I talk to him, I might trigger the other quest prematurely, and then, you know, dude gets killed and we lose our companion. Not going to pick up any recruits. Let's just head west to Varen. We'll keep an eye on this army because I may decide to go with them to wherever their destination is. Looks like Disporian also created an army. Deltisos is being extorted by some deserters. This is actually exactly the type of quest I was hoping for. This is going to let us improve our relations with the local villages while also getting into a bit of action. So I didn't mean to close that. Let's actually have a word with him. Sorry, I don't think I know you. My name is Andros, sir. May I ask yours? I'm Deltisos. I've lived all my life here, working the land as do my kin. A lot of the people here in Varen, the common farmers and craftsmen like me, they like me to speak for them. I heard you may need help with something. Well, if you know how to fight, yes, we could use help. A group of deserters is camped out near here. They come every few weeks demanding food and money. They've killed 2 villagers who resisted them. We asked our lord, Achios, for help, but his men never get here in time. Well, Andros knows all about this situation, and he doesn't take kindly to this sort of behavior, so how can we help? We lay an ambush in the village. When they show up, we spring. If you join us, I think we've got a good chance of ridding ourselves of this scourge before they murder us one by one. Well, alright then, I will join you in this fight. We could let Himmel take control here, but I don't want to lose him and 10 of my men for 7 days. I'd rather just deal with this right now. And again, I want to get into some action, so perfect time for a sort of warm-up fight. Alright, so we will leave the area, but not the actual village, because we cannot, otherwise we'll fail. Okay, so we'll wait here for some time, and the deserters are going to roll up, looking for a fight, and we're going to give it to them. So it's 28 of them. They're mountain bandits, so let's see. 16 Imperial recruits, 8 Imperial infantrymen, and 4 equites. So that'll be relatively easy. So many recruits, they're not going to be able to do much. We have our party, of which you guys are familiar with. We're also joined by 51 militia, 30 of which are spearmen, 21 of which are archers. All of them probably a match for this party here. And then, of course, Delcios himself with a couple of recruits. So let's get into battle here. So I am running Screamer Lord at the moment, which lets you issue voice commands to control your army. I don't want to necessarily play around with it too much right now. I want to win this battle with as few casualties as possible. But it is something I'd like to definitely use in the future. So if you're not familiar with it, what you can do is say things like infantry, and it should select infantry, as we saw there, though it appears to have deselected them. Oh, okay, we've got some cavalry popping in here, and for some reason my frame rate just dipped really hard. That's a bit concerning. Alright, so infantry, I'll let you swarm them. Come on now. Cavalry, I will allow you to charge and just kind of run around, cause trouble as you see fit. Archers, please come back over here. Infantry, advance. Alright, good, good, good. Alright, archers, let's continue to move. Cavalry, come back to me. Archers, move up to here. Infantry, keep pushing down slope to join these peasants. We're being overly cautious here, but again, I don't want to lose any of my men to something stupid. I'll tell the cavalry to charge. There's not very many of them, so we should be able to overwhelm them pretty quickly. And infantry can join them too. I'm not fighting so well here. Let's get my javelins out. And, oh, you guys dropped him. Perfect. So yeah, Screamer Lord is something I'll play around with. However, oh god, don't get in my way, man. I can't seem to hit anybody right now. I don't want to do it in situations where... Okay, you got him. Where, you know, it's going to cost us stuff. But, so, the way it works is I can, again, say different things that prompt selection. So I can go cavalry. Or horsemen. And they should be selected. For whatever reason, that's not working right now. I think possibly because the battle's over. And then I can tell them to do things like infantry shield wall. And they'll form up in formation. Or I can tell them to charge. I can tell them to move. So I'm going to try to use that as much as possible. But I want to practice with it before we rely on it entirely. Okay. So it looks like one of the militia spearmen was killed. But otherwise, no casualties on our end. And almost the entire attacking party was killed. So we'll get some moderately valuable loot. Not really much there. And I don't know that we're going to get any prisoners. Apparently not. Let's talk to the village elder again to collect our pay. So normally I would take the money. However, this is a roleplay. Let's play. So in these particular situations, Andros is not going to take money from the little people. There's plenty of other ways to earn money in this game. He'll go out of his way to help the local villagers at no cost to them, all cost to himself. So we will do that. We gain 2 renown for that. We also gain 2 points in charm, so this is going to be a great way to level up our charm in doing so. And of course we'll gain relation with this village. Okay, that's it for now. Not interested in going back to Montos, so let's ride into Battanian territory and see if we can't find ourselves a bit of trouble. Okay, so we have Finnegan here. It looks like his party is going to outnumber us by, what, 24? But a good chunk of that party is Battanian volunteers, 35 in fact. So more than a third of his army. He's raiding a village right now. And I think this is a battle that we could potentially win, but it may be a bit ugly. The 24 cavalry is going to be hard to deal with. Our party only has 11. And, well, that's not counting me, but that is counting Himmel. Says he's raiding Golarin there. Maybe we'll follow him. Looks like he's coming after me. Will he catch me? 5.1, 5.1. No, we'll be able to keep pace and outrun him. But I would like to fight. I just would like to be able to dictate the circumstance. So let's try to get up into the hills here, where I think his cavalry will be a little bit less useful. So right about there, I think, is a good place. And let's have a word with him. Peace to you, stranger. What is your name? I'm Andros, and who are you? I'm Finnegan, of the Penrake, one of the ancient lineages of the Battanians. If you ever want a chance for glory, you might want to consider fighting for me. One day you can tell your grandchildren that you served under my command. Alright, we have the advantage of you. Yield, and you will be well treated. I mean, he's been pretty honorable so far. Andros has a mixed opinion of the Battanians. On the one hand, of course, his raider father was a Battanian, and that creates quite a bit of hate in his mind for them. But on the other hand, he knows that they're also just human, and many Battanians are in the same situations that he's found himself in. But also, he is part Battanian, so as much as he might kind of despise that side of himself, he is a Battanian, and that he can't ignore. So he's not sure how to approach the Battanians directly. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and fight these guys. I think we can win. Let's go ahead and attack. Okay. Not ideal terrain ahead of us, but it looks like relatively decent position behind us. So let's pull back to this higher slope here. We'll set up our archers at the top so that they'll have a pretty good vantage point to fire from, and we'll set up our infantry at the base. maybe hereabouts. And then the cavalry, I think I would like to hide in the forest over there. So I'm going to let him lead that group. I'll stay here and command the overall army. We should see them coming to us. Yeah, just over the hill there. You can see them coming at us through the fog. I'm going to tighten up our infantry formation just a little bit. So let's go ahead and put them in a shield wall. That should make them a little bit more resilient to missile fire. And then if my archers could maybe spread out a little bit, let's have them in a loose formation. Just so that the enemy firing into the crowd won't drop as many people as it might have otherwise. Also, that gives them a little bit more leeway to fire between each other if necessary. I may need to pull the cavalry back. We will see what the enemy decides to do, but if they come after the cavalry first, then of course we will need to do something about that. Their cavalry appears to be entirely concentrated on the left flank. Their right flank, our left. So that's something that we'll need to look out for. I may be able to distract them a bit. If I can bait them to come after me, I could potentially lead them into my cavalry. Okay, so let's not fight them there. Oh, I didn't mean to pull out this. Okay, so the cavalry is running across their formation. I'm going to call up my cavalry now and tell them to charge. They were a little bit late there. Oh, it looks like the enemy had some cavalry skirmishing on the other side that I didn't quite catch. Oh, not quite enough to kill him there. So cavalry, I'm going to delegate command so that you guys aren't necessarily just charging suicidally, but you are going to react more intelligently. And we'll pretend that Himmel is the one leading that. Oh, there's their general right there. Let's see if we can maybe... Oh, good timing on the turn. Our infantry appears to be winning that. Oh, that was just a horseman? But yes, our infantry are winning this clash. Archers seem to be pretty safe up on the hill. I'm going to cut down some guys there. Did I not land that? I am having a hell of a time today. Going from one loadout to another really messes with me sometimes. Yeah, my sword, my sword is a lot shorter than it is in the other playthrough, and it's making me time my swings very poorly, like that. My other sword would have cut him down there. Yeah, I can't seem to hit anybody. What is going on right now? I'll just have to go really slow. What is going on? There we go. Okay, that was a face shot, but it didn't do much. I believe we've routed them, so I'm just going to tell everybody to run people down. We'll be very aggressive here. There are still some fighting. There are pockets of resistance. One of my guys was just killed. Again, I whiff on the attack. But my cavalry will charge straight through. Oh, I just dropped Finnegan. I thought I already had, but apparently I hadn't. They still have some archers over here. So let's try to deal with these guys. Oh, these are actually fairly elite troops here. I gotta be careful. Okay, here comes my infantry. They should be able to dispatch these guys pretty easily. Me, on the other hand, not so much. Especially since I can't seem to gauge the length of this sword very well. Do not want my horse to go down. This is going much, much better now. Okay. So, pretty clean victory for us there. God, how did I not hit him? Alright. We won the battle. It was actually fairly ugly, but most of that was my flailing. In terms of tactics, I think things played out exactly as we could have hoped. They did kind of get the drop on me with their light cavalry attacking mine, but it didn't seem to cause much damage. I was actually hoping to surprise their cavalry by having mine charge into it while they were unprepared, but my cavalry was already a little bit busy. a lot of renown for that and influence, and a nice boost to our morale. Finnegan himself. So, I wish I knew more about you. I can click on this. So, he's honest, daring, and merciful. As tempting as it is to take him prisoner and ransom him, I might try to start building some relation with other lords. He was, again, honorable to us. He offered to be merciful if we surrendered. Of course, that was a little bit boastful, but still, he did have the numbers on his side. So I'm going to set him free. Our charm goes up again. That's going to be a fairly common thing. Our relationship only went up 2. That's a little bit disappointing. I'd like to see them make that a larger boost, because potentially we could take this guy captive and ransom him or even kill him. So I think just letting him off scot-free is worthy of more than just +2. Now, we did gain a lot of prisoners here. I'm going to take them all, of course. We may not necessarily ransom them all. I may decide to donate them for a relationship with maybe a particular lord in our faction. Especially if we decide there's somebody in our faction that we might want to marry, then, you know, donating troops to her father would be a good idea. Let's upgrade these guys. That's going to give us 5 of the veteran infantrymen that are much more heavily armored than our trained ones. And then as far as the archers go, do we want veteran archers or do we want crossbowmen? I think for these 5, I'm going to go with veteran archers. But in the future, we might try to roll with a lot more crossbowmen than we have now. So we're going to pay 500 here for those upgrades. We're still technically in the positive for this overall battle. And in terms of all the loot, we're going to be even, you know, better off than we are now. So let's grab that. Okay, so for our first foray into enemy territory, I think that went quite well. Where are we actually at in terms of numbers? 61 plus 5. So 66, we lost 5 men, I believe. 6 possibly. We were at 71 or 72. So we're not down that much. We could try to linger around here for just a little while longer. We have Firad. What's your party looking like? So 83 plus 19 wounded, but almost half of that is volunteers. He's only got 9 cavalry. I think that's another very winnable battle. How many? So 19 wounded. Do I fight him now? Yeah, I think fighting now is our best option, because he has 8 cavalry that would have to sit the fight out, and another 2 highborn warriors that would have to sit out. So this is, I think, the best possible time to engage him. Oh, man. Okay, so I'd like to talk to him as well. I'd like to get to know as many of these lords as I can. Of course, these are Battanians, they're enemies now. However, my vision for the immediate future is I'd like to, as we conquer into Battania, gain some land there, and that might be the seat of where we start forming our Grand Republic. So if I could, in the future, turn a couple of Battanians to my side in our quest, that would be great. And this is a perfect place to start. I'm Andros. Who are you? I'm Firad of the Penrake, so that he's of the same clan as the guy we just fought. The fame of our family is second to none in the songs of the Battanians. Never heard of you. Doubt you'll give me much trouble. I don't really care for that. Let's see, so we have a +2 with him because, again, we spared his clanmate, Finnegan. He is close-fisted, so he's not very generous, but he is honest. So not the worst character if we were going to try to recruit some vassals from other factions down the line. I'm going to try to stick to people that are honorable and have overall positive traits. But close-fisted, I think I could live with more than somebody that's like cruel. Okay. I don't like your arrogance, though. I've got you cornered. Yield or we shall attack. We're Imperials. We fight till the end. So we fight then. Alright, let's go ahead and attack. Interesting, so we're fighting in a little mountain pass here. I am going to pull our troops back once again. I'm going to take any favorable position I can get my hands on. So I think what I'd like to do is have my infantry occupy this slope here. Infantry. Archers, I'd like you up here. Archers, I'd like you up here. And I'm going to put my cavalry up that slope, I think. Now, infantry, I do want you in a shield wall. And I would prefer if you could spread out just a little bit. Not spread out, but elongate your formation. So we're going to have them do that. The idea... Okay, they're already firing on us. The idea there is I don't want the enemy really working their way around to this side here. I'd like my archers to stay up here relatively safe. My archers are going to need to spread out a bit. And if you guys could move up slope just a little bit, that'll give you a better view of the enemy as they come. Okay, so I like our positioning. We could even go further up the hill, but I think where we're at now is perfectly adequate. I can see everybody as they approach. Their cavalry seems to be bringing up the rear, and then trying to maybe flank around as well, but they're not going to be able to do much up there. I'll get my spear handy so that I can maybe meet them head on. This is a spear, not a lance. I cannot couch this, and I don't intend to ever use a lance in this playthrough. My character is a Imperial officer, not a cataphract, so Andros is only going to be using weapons that sort of befit that position. Cool, we gained some tactics points for just sitting around, basically. So he's only going to use regular short thrusting spears and swords, shields, and for a ranged weapon, javelins. In siege battles, I may take on a crossbow or a bow or something. Oh, my horse just got domed. But that's probably it. Cavalry, go ahead and engage. Where's advance? F4. Deal with these guys, and then I'll have you move into... Oh, you totally blocked me there, buddy. I'll have them move in to deal with the rest of the enemies in just a moment. Okay, clipped in with that javelin. They're about to meet our infantry, and it looks like we should have no problem getting the better of them there. He blocked that somehow. These guys are not going down. This is not how I wanted this cavalry battle to go. We're having a real hard time navigating this. I just cut him in the neck and he didn't even flinch. Infantry is holding really well over there. Archers are hopefully still doing their thing. I just narrowly dodged that spear. These guys are really good at getting their shields up in time. And my sword is not doing a whole lot to them. Come on, infantry. Do your jobs. Cut those guys down. Then we can advance and attack their second line there. I'm actually going to harass their archers because I don't seem to be of much use in this cavalry battle. Though I don't seem to be much use with attacking these guys either. Please don't drop me. My horse is very hurt, so I'm going to retreat back to the line and probably join the infantry. I don't want my horse to go down. This is a unique horse. It's the Pureblood. I don't think you could even get it in game, but I'm going to give him a name. And he's going to be our companion throughout this playthrough. Infantry, I would like you to advance. Maintain shield wall and advance at the enemy. A little bit short there. Oh, they're not advancing. Why is that? Oh, because there's enemies here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Cut you down. Apparently I completely whiffed on that thrust. There we go. It's another one. Let's go, guys. Cut him down. Okay, now we're advancing. Archers, push up. Get into range. Infantry, follow me. Follow your commander. Cavalry, I'm going to tell you guys to do your own thing. We'll put Himmel in charge of them again. Let's get a nice push here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Legionnaires, charge! They're not actually going to do that, though. I am working on getting them to respond to commands like that. Is this dude rocking 2 shields? I can't swing in this crowd. There we go. Oh, I got their Lord. Completely by luck, too. Okay, let's try this. Men, kill them all. The cavalry responded, but they didn't quite pick up the men part. But that should basically issue an all-charge order. I don't think we're going to catch any of them unless the cavalry gets lucky. Some of them are actually retreating in this direction, so maybe we will catch them. But we are so slow. We'll get what we can. That's another pretty solid victory for us there. Despite being outnumbered, we win relatively handily. Let's see if I can intercept you. Oh, you kill steal. Okay. I'll let them clean this up. Okay. 11 renown, almost 10 influence, and 6 morale. I'll take it. We did lose 7 trained infantrymen, but if we're going to lose anybody, I suppose those are the ones to lose. It looks like I leveled up quite a bit, but none of my party did. Or, no, sorry, yes they did. We have a few people ready to be promoted. So that's going to leave us down to, what, we were 66, including the wounded, so we'll be at 59. It might be time to go do some recruiting. So I'm going to continue to let these guys go free. While it is a bit disappointing that we're only getting +2, it's +2 to every member of that clan. So between these two guys, we'll effectively have a +4 with several people, including the 2 that we talked to. So you fought well, you're free to go. And yes, we're up to 4 with that clan now. We have a lot of prisoners. We're going to relinquish the volunteers. I have no desire to keep them around. Clan warriors are only 1 step above, so they can go 2. We want the horsemen are up there. The Fion are definitely up there. Trained spearmen, possibly. Highborn warriors, we're going to want to snag 2. Picked warrior or highborn spearmen, level 26. These guys are higher ranking. So let's take one of you. Scouts, 21. Trained spearmen, 26. These guys are only level 16. Let's unload them. We'll take the other trained spearmen. The scouts are 21. We'll take as many of them as we can. And that's going to maximize our payout. I'd like to take more, but we're in enemy territory. A lot of them will escape before we can get home. It is worth mentioning, though, like if you're at or over your prisoner cap, but you're close to a place where you can unload the prisoners, it's worth going over and just letting a few of them get away, because you'll still have most of them by the time you arrive. Not in this case, though. Okay, so let's get the hell away from this giant army. I say we'll go back to Lagado with our spoils. And actually, let's swing by Varen. So Patris of the Hidden Hand has signed a declaration of war against Flandia. The Hidden Hand is a minor faction of one of the Imperial factions. And so it looks like they're going to war with Flandia. Varen says they have some noble recruits. So that's some potential cavalry. Do they? What's the crown then? I thought that meant that they had noble recruits. Apparently not. So what does that mean? I'm not sure. Don't want to go to Montos right now. We could try to run down these looters. They're going to be stuck. Oh, maybe not. They got out of there fast enough. We'll still catch them, though. And we'll auto-resolve that just to gain some XP. Of course, we have to get them first. We're not going to catch them. We're the same speed. Never mind. Oh, we gained another level. Awesome. Nemos, what's going on? More extortion. Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. I'd like to replenish our party first. If we're going to take on a bunch of recruits, they may as well be with us when we fight that. Okay, I've got a lot of stuff going on here, so let's take care of our level ups. Leveled up quite a bit, actually. So, first of all, one-handed, we can choose a perk here. 4% increase to our damage or 3 hit points. That is tough. I think I'm going to go with hit points. So effectively, this is a 3% increase to our HP because our hit points right now are 100 exactly. So let's do that. I'm going to put a focus point into one-handed too, just so we level up a little bit faster. Do we need to pick anything else, or was that the only one? That is the only one. So, I will throw another point into, I think, social. I'd like for our charm to level up faster too, so let's put a focus point in that. Leadership is going pretty well. Tactics has been going pretty well. Stewardship, I need some focus points because I'm actually currently the quartermaster of our party. So I can sort of passively level this, but I do need to have some focus there, otherwise it just won't happen very quickly. And that does give us one more point to spend. I am not too sure where I want to spend it. I think I'll go with athletics, because I don't want to be super slow on foot all the time. So that's it for our character. Himmel did not level up, but he does have a ton of focus points to spend. Let's do maybe 2 there. I'll give him 1 in polearms, 2 in crossbow. Or sorry, bow. None in crossbow. Riding, let's put some points there. Athletics, I'll give him at least 1 or 2. And then tactics, let's give him some points. But I think scouting as well. I'd like him to become a decent scout. So that leaves me with 3 more. Is it worth investing in any of these? I think I'll hold on to them for now, and I'll spend them as I see fit later on. But you know what? He needs another one here, or he's not going to progress. So let's do that. I might need to throw one in riding as well, because he's actually, yeah. So we need 1 there and 1 here, or he's just going to never go anywhere. Camden, we deal with a few more deserters. So that's at least 2 more fights for us. In the meantime, I might run around and try to grab some recruits. I'm going to try to grab recruits that aren't recruits, if that makes any sense. I want like the tier 2, tier 3 troops. So I'm not bringing people in from scratch. But if I have to, I will. I'm going to fill out our party before we go on anywhere. Regarding companions, let me know what you guys think. Should I just be taking on as many as I can find, or should we limit ourselves in some regard? In the other playthrough, I mentioned 1 elite companion per clan tier, but that's going to limit us to maybe, 4 or 5 for the entire campaign. Not to say that we can't, of course, have the lower, crappier guys, but still, I think I'd like to see more than that. So if you can come up with a better system, I'm all ears. And next time around, we're also going to start seeking a potential spouse. We're not going to necessarily try to marry her next episode, but we want to at least have an idea of who we want to go after and start at least getting the ball rolling in that direction. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Bannerlord with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next episode.